What's going on, guys? Reisshub back with another video, and today is day 1 of season 4. I hope you guys are all enjoying it. And many people have asked me when I streamed earlier over on Twitch, they said which shotgun is the best, because in this meta we have 3. We have the pump, we have the charge, and we have the combat. So I just thought I'd make a video to explain my thoughts on all 3 shotguns, where they're useful, which is better, etc, etc. Just remember this is all on day 1, so obviously a lot of this could change. Last season people were still asking me on the end of the season which is better, the charge or the tac. So I'm sure as the season develops we're going to see a true meta coming out. So keep in mind this is just initial thoughts from day 1. Okay, so the first thing that I want to say is that all 3 of these shotguns really seem viable. The pump obviously is fantastic. The combat, despite being heavily nerfed and only doing 50 body shot damage maximum, with the blue one that is, still very viable because of the fast fire rate and great distance of it. And then the charge again packs a huge punch with a great distance. And I think the 3 create a great synergy. Now when it comes to purple and gold, or epic and legendary, I think the choice is really clear of which is superior, which is obviously the pump. If you watch any pros play today, the majority of them were all wanting to use the pump, not just because of the nostalgia, but honestly because it was just better. You can one pump with the purple. The range is obviously not as good as the other 2 shotguns, but let's be real, that doesn't matter as much when it comes to something that can one pump you, and most players are fighting their shotguns up close anyway. Like I said, I'm pretty sure the combat only comes in the blue variant on the floor, which means if you want to go to purple or gold, you're going to have to upgrade it, and it's honestly not worth the materials to do that. The top damage for the gold is 82 in the head, whereas the blue is 75, and it's still 3-shot kill either way with all of them, so it's honestly just not really worth upgrading for. So immediately it's not really worth that for the purple and gold versions. When it comes to purple and gold charge, the damage at the top end is still pretty much the same because you can still one-pump people with both of them, actually being able to one-pump people with the blue versions. But on top of this, you have to fully charge it to be able to do this. And then again, if you're just going to fire it once without charging it, you're going to do much less damage, and there's that awkward delay, which is going to make building and box fighting really kind of awkward while you're trying to fight with it, as we found out over the last season. The charge, however, does have an advantage on range, but I don't really feel like it's worth it in comparison to the pump, because the pump can just do things faster, they can do things better. Like I said, most shotgun kills are already going to be done in close range, so that shotgun that's going to be quick, you're going to be able to fight with it efficiently, is just going to be better in these fights. Also, the best thing about the charge is that you can side grade it into a pump and vice versa. So it takes minimal materials to do this, and let's be real that we all think the purple and gold pump is better. So this is the one I would advise taking when you have a purple and gold variant. Okay, so what about the common and the uncommon shotguns, the grey and the green? Well, firstly, there's not a grey and a green version of the combat shotgun, so immediately we're not going to be talking about that. So this is going to be a discussion between what's better, the charge or the pump for these lower rarities. In my opinion here, it actually flips to the charge being better. The reason for this is that the max damage you can do with the grey pump is 140, because it has a base damage of 70 and it still has the 2 times headshot multiplier, unlike the other shotguns. The max you can do with the charged shotgun is 160 when it's fully charged into the head, which is a one-shot kill for someone at 150 HP, which is very common HP to be at. But what's the real reason why I think the charge is better in these 2 variants? Well, in all honesty, the common and uncommon variants of the pump hit very low very frequently, whereas the damage from the charge hits way more consistently in those close range fights. Since those lower rarity pumps have such an odd spread, and they're so frequent for you to hit 20s to 50 kind of damage pumps with it, I just don't think that they're worth taking over a charge. Just remember back to season 1 and 2 how everyone was complaining about these pumps and how poor they really were, and how frequently you just hit nothing with them. When it comes to the rare shotguns, which is the blue variant, this is where things get a little bit interesting. So this is where the combat is pretty viable, and I don't think it's as good as the pump, I'm just going to say that up front, but there are situations where it works really, really well. Firstly, you can use it like a tactical shotgun. It has an incredibly fast fire rate, which means you can get in their box and just keep spamming, and you will probably kill them much quicker than they can kill you with a pump AR, unless they headshot you. If they have 150 HP, you can kill them in 2 shots with a combat, both headshots, because it just hits 75, 75, and they're dead. And if they're 200 HP, it takes 3 shots to kill them, 2 good headshots and 1 max body shot. So the combat is really viable. Plus, I feel like the damage is really consistent on it. I did see ShioWager on Twitter say that it seems to be inconsistent, but I haven't seen that myself yet, but I'll keep a lookout for that. The combat also has the lowest damage drop-off of any shotguns, so from 2 tiles away, it's going to be way more efficient than the pump is. A headshot with a pump at 2 tiles away does 79 damage, whereas with a combat, it does 65. So if you're keeping your distance being 2 tiles or more away, you can do much better with the combat at this range. Obviously don't be too far away because you're just better off using an assault rifle at that point. So if you want to use the combat, the best way to do it is either, in all honesty, just use it like a tactical shotgun and get in someone's box, or keep your distance with it and continually tear them down with those higher damage shots that are going to be much stronger than your opponent's shotgun shots. But again, I still think the blue pump outshines the blue charge in this situation, purely just because of the speed that you can edit, shoot, reset, all of these things and still hit maximum damage. Sure, with the blue charge, you can one pump someone, and the blue pump max shot is 180, but in all honesty, most people immediately switch to their AR or SMG after max pumping someone anyway, so I don't see this as much of an issue. Overall, the general consensus seems to be, when I asked on Twitter, that the pump is just the superior weapon, that everyone seems to be preferring that. I made a post about it and Raider commented on it saying that was his one, obviously because he can edit way fast and make good quick resets, taking shots in between. The average players who also commented there said it was their favourite, and I even flex on this DM of Benji Fishy saying it was his favourite just because he's good with the pump as well. The final thing that I wanted to say here is that all three of these shotguns are really viable. I've said that in the intro, but the reason I want to say that is because it's really personal preference and down to the person's playstyle. I'm just basing this off of day one, saying that these pumps are going to be way more viable and way more consistently to use, but if you're really good with the charge and not so good with the pump, you're good at your spacing, you're good at using it, don't let me tell you any difference. Like I said, they're all viable, so choose whichever one you are better with, but I would practice with all three just so you know how to use them all. Hope this video helped. I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one. Enjoy Season 4.